more joy, and more ways to give.
Inspirit
More to life.
Nutrition.
I love this. He says,
Back again for another installment. Your brother, your friend, your dietitian. I come to you today. I was just listening to Les Brown, a motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown. He's a phenomenal brother, phenomenal speaker. It's interesting because a friend of mine, he actually tried to send me some things about Les Brown a while ago, but I just didn't take heed. It just didn't resonate me at that time. Sometimes people plant seeds. Sometimes things are given to us in a different season. Certain seeds can only germinate in certain seasons. For example, if you plant a seed during the winter time, it may not spring up until the spring. After fires, forest fires, there's certain plants that have seeds that are only released when there's extreme heat, when there's a fire, and they're released and they grow in that season. But in other seasons, they don't typically grow. So he dropped the jewel, told me about Les Brown, but I didn't really take heed. Later on, I saw that he had posted on Facebook, and I pushed play, listened to the video. Mind blown. Video is phenomenal. Totally resonated with me, totally inspirited me, totally inspired me. Inspirit Nutrition, back again for another installment. He had me on fire. In fact, I cried 2 times yesterday because of how intense and how profound his message was. I read a book. It's a phenomenal book. I study this book still, and I've studied in the past. The book is called Black Folks Guide to Making Big Money in America. This book was written in the late 70s, early 80s. It's for anyone who wants to read about building wealth and making money. It just so happens that it's like a manifesto for so-called African Americans. But in the book, he says, to be honest, the same things that are keeping white people poor are the things that are keeping black people poor. There's no difference. I just happen to be African American, and so I'm going to write the book for African Americans. So, but in the book, he gives a lot of information about how to build wealth, he talks about actionable steps, things you can do to start building wealth. But he says, at the end of the day, you will face challenges, you will face defeats, you will face, well, not defeats, but you'll face failures, but you must not be defeated. You have to come up with a motivational program. And I think that the best type of program, motivational program, is self-love. That's the first motivational program, first component of a motivational program that you have to add to your repertoire is loving yourself 100%. You got flaws, you got pimples, you got a beat up hairline, you got, different, whatever your flaws are, love yourself 100%. Ámate a ti mismo 100%. Sin duda, sin preguntas. Love yourself 100% without a doubt, without doubts, without questions. Love yourself 100%. I got flaws. I got insecurities. I take them and I embrace them. I run towards them. I love myself 100%. You love yourself 100%. That's the tightest motivational program step first. But instead of being on Instagram, Facebook, watching the depressing news, going to see films with things being planted in your subconscious, you can program yourself. And I realized, man, I never really developed my strong motivational program. I have a few people I follow. Miss Rizos on she just makes me smile, man, on Facebook and Instagram, different social media. She's, I talked about her in my past videos. She's doing a lot in the Dominican Republic, promoting self-love, natural hair, things like that in Dominican Republic. It's phenomenal work. She's one of the persons that inspire me. These twins, one is called TK Wonder, and the other one runs a blog called Urban Bush Babes. Both wonderful young people chasing their dreams, living their dreams. They inspire me, but that's only periodic. You have to create a motivational program. How do you create a motivational program? Every day you have to read something motivational. You have to read it in book form, online, get a text message sent to you, sign up for a news feed, a list, something, e-list, a blog, pictures, photos, something. You need something to motivate you on a day-to-day basis. I used to only use motivational tips and tricks when I was depressed, or when I was sad, or when I was going through hard times. No, you need to get motivation every single solitary day. And that's what I realized with Les Brown. So what did I do? I actually downloaded a bunch of Les Brown's audiobooks and speeches and lectures, and I listen to them when I'm going to work. I listen to them when I'm about to go to sleep, so it can hit my subconscious. I listened to them today when I was jogging, and it inspirited me. It gave me power, because a lot of the people tell us that we can't do this, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, we're not deserving, we're unworthy. But how many times a day, a week, does your boss tell you about your potential? Does your mother or your sister or your girlfriend tell you about your potential? Your boyfriend, one of your friends you hang out with, talk about how much potential you have and feed you with positive messages. It's not their responsibility to do that. It's your responsibility to do that, to fill yourself with that. But it's good to have someone on your team. It needs to be like you're at a home team. You need a home team advantage. So you need people on your team who are positive, who are affirming, who can bless you up, who can boss up and give you motivational advice. But you need something on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, that you listen to before you go to sleep, that you read, that you watch. You have to feed yourself constantly, and eventually you're going to program your mind for success. You're going to program your mind for confidence, for courage, for fearlessness, for being relentless. One thing that really blew my mind was that he said that you need to get a coach. First he said you need to do something motivational every day, read something motivational, or listen to something motivational every day. But another thing he said was you need a coach, a life coach, a consultant, something that's going to guide you. He said that Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golf ball players in the world, has a coach. Every time before he hits that ball, he looks up at his coach. Serena Williams has a coach. A lot of the top-notch people, Michael Jordan, they work with Tony Robbins. He's one of the most dynamic, well-known motivational speakers, life coaches. He personally works with some of the greatest people in their fields in the world. We're talking about Michael Jordan here. We're talking about, Serena Williams. These are some of the greatest people in the world. It's not just athletes. Abraham Lincoln, he had a spiritual advisor. His name was, I think his name was Avery Randolph. Adolfo Randolph. He was a spiritual advisor. I forgot his name, but he was a spiritual advisor of the president. So if they need a life coach, these top-notch people, what do you need? That's what he said. That's what Les Brown said. He blew my mind. Immediately, I got a consultant. Immediately, I started looking for a coach, a mentor. If they need a coach, what do you need? Love yourself 100%. Develop a motivational program where every day you inundate yourself. You fill up your mind with things that are going to inspirit you. My pops told me, it's not about the money, it's about the motivation. This would come from my pops. He's made millions. And I learned a lot about money from him. I was telling him how the money, I could do so much for the money. He said, it's not about the money, it's about the motivation. With the motivation, the money will come. People don't need information, they need motivation. They need motivation and inspiration. Then, when people understand their true power, everything else will be a walk in the park, a piece of cake. Because they know they can do everything else. They know they can achieve. If those people have right-hand people about self-development, teaching them about self-development, self-care, motivation, what do you need? What do I need? Your brother, your friend, your dietitian back again for another installment. Eat healthy, motivate yourself, be well, and we'll talk soon. Peace.